Okay, so let's work on the online CBT feature. So if you want to set up an online CBT for your students to take online CBT in the school or at home or anywhere, these are the steps you are going to take, okay? These are the steps. The first and most important thing is to have your questions and answers ready. You see, I have an exclamation mark there. Have your questions and answers ready. How do you do that? You can go to MS Word and you have your questions. So this is question set in MS Word. I have this is based on English language. So this question is for English language and it is for JS1 and that is all. This is for JS1. Okay, so you have your questions ready. Okay, now this is first question: what is a noun? And you have the correct answer. I had to indicate it because when I'm putting it into the CBT software and when I'm putting it into the school portal, I need to indicate the correct answer. Okay, 5 questions here. So that's the first thing. If it is math, any other subject, the same process. Have your questions and answers ready. I cannot overemphasize this. It is very, very important so that you can start. It's not when you are online, you will now start typing questions. You can use an AI, ChatGPT, Cloud AI, Copilot, any AI to help to generate questions, or the teachers can generate the questions and options. Okay, at least there should be 2 options. That is, there should be at least 1 and 2, that is A and B. There should be at least A and B. Now, as you see that I formatted it 1, what is a noun? And I have, this, and I have the number and the listing. It's important you put it this way. But if you want the questions to be random, then remove the numbering. That is, what's a noun? There's supposed not to be number on it if you want it to be random. As the second step to do is to create a question group. Okay, example CBT test 1. Now, I'm going to use this CBT test 1 to create the first question group. So this is the interface on the school portal. So if you go to this online CBT, the very first thing you go to is the question group. Okay, you don't go to online CBT list, you don't go to question bank, you go straight to question group. So the question group, you select whether this CBT test is for secondary school or nursery and primary school. So I'm going to select it for secondary school, and I'm going to now put the name that I just mentioned now. That is CBT test 1. Now I'm going to save it. So that is the first thing you have to do. This is what you need to know. So the next thing now is to proceed to the question bank. Okay, upload your questions, okay, to questions bank. This is question bank. This is very critical. This question bank is very, very important because you need to be able to understand how it works. This question bank is where your questions are going to be uploaded in. You can upload it directly, you can upload it through Excel and import multiple questions, but I'm going to look at direct upload because that is the straightforward and simple and most easy to customize. So let us go to question bank. Now, this is the third step, your question bank, okay? So currently, I have some questions which I've already set. This is for the secondary school session, and the group is CBT 1, that's CBT test 1, okay? And then the class, remember I said this for just 1 and the subject, okay? And the type of question it is, and the level, I just put it easy. It can be easy, it can be medium, it can be hard if it's a hard question, but it is still okay. Anyhow you want to put it. Now, the most important thing is set your questions. Now, these are the questions here, all of them here. I'm going to add a new question so that you see how to add a question. Now, I'm taking the question from the fifth one here. Now, I'm going to copy this question. Now, what is the opposite of hot? I'm going to copy it and then come over here and select the secondary school section. I'm setting it for just 1 and I'm setting it for A. You can set for all of, you can set for A and still use it for B or C as long as it's for just 1 question. So I'm going to set this subject as English language filter. So this is it now. So here is where you have the type of questions you want to set, whether it's a single choice or multiple choice or true and or false or descriptive. Descriptive is where the person have to now type the answer inside here. Now, if the answer is typed by the student correctly, or close to what is already written here, what you wrote here as the answer, the software will be able to mark it. If it's not close, it is going to dictate it as an error. So this is the reason why it is best to use single choice questions for OBJ instead of using descriptive or multiple choice. Multiple choice, the person can select two or more answers. You can select that option A and option B is still correct. Okay, you can select option 1 and option 4 is still correct. So if the person choose 1, it's a pass. You choose 4, it's still a pass. But if the person choose 3 or 2, it is wrong. So this is multiple choices. True or false is just only yes, true or false. Is this true or is this false? Now, there's not much need for too many complicated question sets. I think single choice question is very good to start. So let's just go with single choice question. I'm going to set this as easy. If you set it as hard or medium, it does not change anything at all. The software is just going to recognize that this is placed at different levels, but it's not going to affect any other thing. So the question group, I'm setting it as CBT1 because that's the one that I've already set that has 4 questions in it. So for the mark, so this single question has 1 mark or 2 marks or 3 marks. Okay, so I'm going to set it as just 1 mark. Now, this is what is very important. So please, let's pay attention to this because we are going to copy the question. Now, if I paste the question directly like this into the system, sometimes it might carry the formatting. So it is still okay. If you want, you can go over here, click here, and then delete everything inside here and paste it. This way, when you return back to normal view, it will not carry any formatting at all. What I mean is that in this MS Word, the formatting, that's the font style, the font size, or anything at all that I have here, any formatting. Let's say, for example, here I have what is the opposite. Opposite. I'm going to mark this as bold, okay? And I copy this. Now, if I come here and paste it, you see it's carrying the formatting of what is the opposite of bold, or what is the opposite of hot, sorry, what's the opposite of hot. Now, but this formatting here, maybe I don't want it to carry the formatting. Maybe where I copied it from, I don't want the formatting to be there. For such, I'm going to have to go to this view. This is code view. So I can see the raw code and clean everything, just delete everything there, paste the code, the thing without the coding, go back to view. This way, it will now be plain without anything at all. But it is important you are able to indicate to the student what they are looking for. What is the opposite, for example, should be bolded so that the student will understand this is what is being looked for. Because at a glance, they may just say what is, and they are saying what is and hot without even knowing what is inside the in between there. So what is the opposite? If the opposite is bold, they understand what they are looking for is the opposite of the thing. So now that is quite very helpful. You can also italic. You can say what is the opposite of hot? Then you italic this part, or anyhow you want to be. You can also highlight and underline. So all you need to do is click here and it will underline the text. But anyway, that is to help the student to understand what they are looking for. I'm going to put the answers here. I prefer putting it and removing all the formatting. So I'm copying the answers and I'm going to delete everything inside the code and put it without the code. Now remember I said this is so that the formatting you copied from the other part will not be in there. Okay, so I'm going to take this. Now remember, if I take this like this and put inside here, correct answer, this is terrible because automatically I'm putting the answer. So this is wrong. I'm just going to put only code. But I'm going to indicate that the correct answer is option 4. And that is all. That is all. Save. When you save it, the software will show that it is saved. Say, okay, it is saved. You don't need to click OK to go out by itself. Now, when it says, it will give you an empty sheet again. As you see, it is now empty. Now I can type in another question. But when you want to see all your questions, you go back to question list. So you now see all the questions. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for JS1 and English language, single choices, and question group CBT1 and the rest of it. So this is it. And the teachers, all of them can just put their questions here. This is the most important part. Then the next thing now, for it to work, for students to write it, for it to be online, for them to be able to access it, is on the online CBT list. You have to go to online CBT list. And then here, you now set the CBT. You set it up for them to write. So I'm going to go to add online exam. I'm going to set it for secondary school. And I'm going to call it JS1 CBT test 1. Okay, so this JS1 CBT test 1. So this for JS1. For I can now set it for all JS1, if all JS1 ABC, whatever number that they have, as long as it's JS1, this is for all of them. So the subject is English language. Now, you can do multiple subjects so that you can have like English, maths, and like more than one at the same time, because you can select their questions. But this is just for English now, so I'm just going to set this up only for English. Now, the date and the time is important because of this is what determines when it will kick off. So I'm going to set it for today, being Friday, 1st of November. So it's going to be written today. And the write-up, the time is going to be written is very important. You set it up so that the system will be able to start, they will be able to start. Now I'm going, right now it is 8:09. I'm setting this exam for 8:15. Okay, let me just put it 8:10. Okay, 8:10, and to stop by 8:20, and the time is 20 minutes. So this is 8:10 to 8:20, 20 minutes. So now, how many times can the student write if, or to practice or whatever? Now I'm going to set it once. Why? Because it's just a one-time attempt. You write it once, and if you fail it, you fail it. You pass it, you passed it. I can make it to so that they can write twice and take the thing, and the first score and the second score will be seen. Okay, so this is fixed. This simply means that if it is 1/5, it is 1/5. It's 3/5, it's 3/5. But if I put it as percentage, it will not give 1/5 or 2/5. It will just say over 100%. So passing mark, how many scores will a student get and the person pass? Now, this is 5 questions. So I'm just going to put it, if you get up to 3, it's passed. The system will just record as passed. This is attempt all questions. So that is all I'm going to put for them. Now, exam type, this is open to every one of them and is going to be fixed. Now, if I want it to be random so that the first person's number 1 question will become another person's number 3 questions or whatever, I randomize it. But if not fixed, that means 1 will be 1, 2 will be 2, 3 will be 3. So that is it. So remember, I talked something about this because if you want it to be random, that means you have to remove this numbering here. That is all. This other numbering remains, but this one should go. But if it is fixed, there's no need for that. So publish the results. Yes, that means that the student is supposed to be able to see their result when they are done and also see the mark, how the mark that they get. So if you want it to be like that, then it is okay. Okay, so I'm going to save it now. Now, there is no questions yet, and it is not yet visible. So there is no question, as you can see, question quantity. This is very important. There is no question at the moment. There's no question here. So this is the start time, the end time, the duration, the type of exam it is, status. They will not see it until I publish it. But the most important thing is that there is no question. There's no question. You have to add the questions. So here, I'm going to now add the question from here. So I'll click on add questions. Now, if I want to filter it, let's say, for example, I have hundreds of questions. This is a lot of, maybe there's a lot of questions here. And these questions are so plenty. So I now look at it and say, oh, there's so much questions. Let me filter so that it will show me only the question that I have set specifically for CBT 1 and for single choice questions and for easy and the rest of that, these whole things. Because this question bank will show you all the questions. From here, you can now filter. So when I filter it, I'll now get these questions. Now, these are the things that I need. I want to select the 5 of them. I can select 3. I can select 2. I can select all. I can select as much as I need. Then here I can redefine the marks. I can say that this very particular one will now have 2 marks. Although originally it's supposed to have 1 mark, but this one is going to have 2 marks and something like that. So when I'm done with it, I'm going to assign the questions to that particular question CBT list. Okay, I'm going to assign the question to the CBT list. Now I'm going to go back here. You go back to exam list. When you go back to exam list, you now activate this. Now remember, it now have question, the quantity of question is 5. The classes, the title, whether secondary school or nursery and primary school, the title, the class, the question quantity, the time, and every other thing that is here. Now, I have already taken more time, so which means I have to now change this time again. Let's just set this time exactly for 8:15 because I've been taking a lot of time to explain this. So I'm going to set it for 8:15 and to end by 8:30 a.m. 20 minutes. It's not up to, I don't know the time, but let me just set it up for that and apply. This negative mark, leave it, please. So that is all. That is all. When you are done with this, you activate it. So from the student section now, this is the student section. Students, I've logged in as a student here. I'm just going to go to Online CBT. So this is the Online CBT. At the moment, is on waiting. The status is waiting. So why is it waiting? So I waited for 3 minutes before it is ready for everybody to take the exam, so that at least that time is for everybody to log in, get ready, be on the same page, and the rest of it. So when you now reload, after 3 minutes or 4 minutes, you reload. Once you reload, you can now take the exam. So I'm taking the exam now. So this is it. It gives me a summary of the information. This is exam name. Okay, so this is the interface of the exam and we are good to go. So we have the total time. The time is counting down, the time remaining. If this time counts down to 0, it will automatically submit, even if I have finished or not. Okay, so this is it. So this is the question map. I can jump to 3, I can jump to 1, I can jump to 2, and the rest of it. So I can jump to anyone at all and start immediately. This is it. So let's start. What is the opposite of hot? Cold. Okay, so next, which of these is a noun? School. It's a noun. Complete. And that is it. So I'm done, submitted it, and the result is published. So I can view the results. From the admin end, you can also view the report. So if I come over here and go to, exam results, so this is it. So this is for me. This is the one I just took right now. As you can see, 83. I took it under the name Brendan Ugu, and this is the total score. I can view the result from my own side here. So this is my own result, and I can now generate position if I want, so that I can show those that got first and those that got second out of that particular mark, out of that particular CBT. That is all. I think that covers every single thing about it. So remember, have your question ready. Have your questions ready. Okay, have your questions ready. Very, very important. Then another thing that's important is getting your students ready. How are they going to take the exam? Are they going to take it with their phones? Are they going to take the questions with their system in this computer lab? How are they going to write the exam? It is important you find out what is available and what is possible. Then, what of if they are going to take the exam at home? If they are going to take the exam at home, it's still okay. So if they are going to take it at home, you also need to understand that they are going to, so you are going to give them something robust so that they are going to take, do research, ask questions, check their textbook, check their notebooks and the rest of it all. So when they finish writing it, they submit and you can see it. So it can be as an assessment, that they can take home, or something they can do in the classes. Anyone that is okay with you, but just make sure that you look at your environment and know what is possible and obtainable. That is all.